Hello, everybody, and welcome to VFR today. We are here on the ground at Boston International Airport, Boston Logan, and we are going to be doing a couple quick hops across the U.S. Atlantic coast in celebration of the 4th of July on a special VFR 4th of July kind of morning-ish flight. So our first leg is going to be Boston to LaGuardia, and I'm just running pre-flight on all that now, checking out the charts and making sure everything is set up. And then once we get to LaGuardia, we're going to go down to Reagan National, DCA, here on VATSIM tonight. So we're in the classic American bare metal livery today. I felt it was appropriate. The new American just doesn't quite have the same oomph to it. So come on along. We're going to be flying the PMDG 737 down the coast. And yeah, we'll do a full turnaround at LaGuardia, which should be good. Again, we are on VATSIM today. I don't believe we are controlled at the moment, but DC Center's online later right now. So there is all right. There are a couple of people at Boston too, and we'll talk about that as we get going. But right now, just going through basic pre-flight stuff at the moment. So if we pull up our EFB, and grab ChartFox, so basically our route's pretty straightforward. We're going out of KBOS here, and we are flying on whatever they basically have a standard route they do between LaGuardia and Boston for all these mostly American regional jets. Pat 6, Pats, Nelly, Valerie, Harp 3 into LaGuardia. LaGuardia looks like landing north in real life, or landing on runway 4. So we'll check out the weather too before we go. But that's all good, and then just running through the charts. So Pat 6 departure out of Boston. Turbojet's only, and just checking all the notes, making sure we're good to go. We're taking off a 27 because that's what the Boston ARTCC website says. But again, it's uncontrolled, so it's kind of our call. So that's Pat 6 out to Pats, and then LaGuardia obviously here. Runway 4, heading to the north, and then we're on the Harp 3 inbound, which is really a collection of VORs. So we should just be able to put that in whole cloth. So let's head back to stream. And hop into the cockpit and get it set up and going. So we are in the basically not quite cold and dark. We've just got battery on. Let me get up my checklist and get rolling. This is also my first real PMDG flight with my new yoke. So we've got the Honeycomb Alpha yoke now. And I ought to plug that in probably. And we're trying out a new throttle configuration too. Using my Windwing Orion throttle, really designed for F-18. But it works for this too. Nice, chunky, lots of buttons. It does help to have controls in and lit up. Okay, so board the PMDG 737, we have a few things that we will have to do as we get started. So parking brake is, we've got wheel chocks on. Battery is on. We've got our emergency lights are auto and guarded. Ground power is available. We'll just hit that, make sure we're connected up. And then lights, we've got position lights on. That'll be enough for now. IRSs We'll set to nav. Not all the way to attitude. I got a fuel still, so we won't put seatbelt signs on. And hydraulic pumps, we'll turn that on. Let's see if the yaw damper can come on. Turn our aft fuel pump, and we can start the APU while we're up here thinking about it. All right, so let's get some paperwork done. Block fuel today is going to be 11,984 pounds. So we'll call it, and just to minimize the amount of fueling we'll have to do, I've booked a little bit extra fuel. So we'll do 18,000 on the way down. As far as payload, this is pretty reasonable. We've got a 2-class configuration. Used to fly in Southwest where there's just the 1 class, but that's all right. So 18,000. So we are fueled up now. And being the first flight of the day, we'll put seatbelt signs on as we board the passengers. I don't know what I'm doing there. Window heat can come on. And it has been a minute since I've flown the 737. This cabin. This is all fine in auto. And one more thing while we're up here: 16,000 feet is going to be our cruising altitude today. They keep these flights pretty low. There's a bunch of them daily, and yeah, we keep them pretty low. All right, so that is that. We can start getting into a. We can start doing the computerology of this. Position in it. We are going to KBOS. We are at KBOS. I can't remember exactly what gate. But we're going boss to LaGuardia. Lima Golf Alpha. And today we are American 176. Runway, we're going to punch into 7 here. And that'll be good for now. We'll depart out of Boston on the PAT 6. Runway 27. And from there, we have Nelly, November, Echo, Lima, India, Echo. And then direct to Valerie. And then Harp 3. So LaGuardia, Harp 3. And we'll take the ILS for runway 4. Just make sure that makes a coherent route, and it appears to. We should also come here and go to plan. And just run through it. So we're going out to Pat's. Essentially. Then to Nelly, Valerie. That's the little kink we saw out over Connecticut. And then we hit Harp, and then it's really just into LaGuardia from there. Okay. So that's good. Bring it back to map, and we can activate that route. So per Finit, we've got 118.1 for the zero fuel weight. Our reserve fuel for today is going to be 5,300 pounds, so we'll call that 5.4. And a cost index of, I'm not sure what American uses, but we'll do 60. Cruising altitude is going to be 16,000 feet. And cruise winds today. We'll punch in 291 at 46 knots. That ought to do it. Okay. And one limit. We're going to go full. We'll derate 1. Do all that. Flaps 5. CG 23.2. That gives us a V1 of 129, V rotate 131, V2 137. That seems reasonable. All right. So that is that. We are now at the point to start thinking about our IFR clearance. And where we're going to go, let me grab a pen. We don't have any ATC online at the moment, so we'll clear ourselves out. But as an exercise, I like to, we can run through it real quick. We are at Boston. We are going to LaGuardia. We are American 176. I wonder what gate we're at. We're at Bravo 17. We have the weather, no ATIS online. So we're American 117. Look, pick up IFR clearance to Boston, from Boston to LaGuardia. We have the weather. And we're going to clear ourselves to Boston. Not really how that works, but Boston, Pat 6 departure. Pat's transition, then as filed. And we'll climb, maintain 5,000 on departure. Expecting flight level, or not flight level, expecting 16,000. So 5,000 is top altitude on the chart. And we have to be above 5,000, at or above 5,000 at Kusi. From there, we'll clear ourselves up to whatever it is. Initial runway heading for runway 27 is going to be 272. So that's 272, and then we'll punch that in at 137. All right, so I think that is the paperwork. We can get rid of the jetway, close the doors, and put on our anti-collision lights. So just looking around, doing Mark 1 eyeball check for traffic. Doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot. We can also use the Sim Toolkit Pro, check for traffic. Looks like we do have another jet on the other side of the airport. This Walker 251 and a 74. We're going out to runway 27, which is kind of out there. So if we pull up, Sim Toolkit Pro, we are here. Bravo 17 on the kind of south side of the airport. We're going to taxi out, I don't know, probably Echo Papa Delta, crossing these runways. Yeah. I mean, you could even go Kilo, Echo Papa Delta, but Echo Papa Delta will work for our purposes. We'll go down to Delta at the far end and then shoot off. So that's taxiing via Echo, Papa, Delta, and then cross. The only thing I dislike about this map is I wish you could see the runway numbers. I know it should be 3-3 left and right, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's 4 right and 4 left. So we'll cross 4 right and 4 left. spatially challenged here. Alright, so let's head back to stream. Okay, so final checks before push. Everything is set up. We will turn our fuel pumps on, make sure packs are off up here. They are off. And then we'll start ignition once we're ready. So, going back to pushback help, or toolbar pushback. We're going to push back tail facing our left. And we'll just push out onto the taxiway here. We'll try and swing it. We're going to block that intersection no matter what. And with chocks pulled, we'll put our parking brake back on. So thank you all for coming along on this full flight 4th of July from Boston Logan to LaGuardia Airport. Should be a good, relaxing 737 flight in the kind of traditional American colors. Oh, I still got baggage carts. Oops. So FS actions, let's get rid of those guys. Then we can remove the chocks. And get on our way. So again, we'll be doing flaps 5. We will be doing... trim is going to be for init ref. Takeoff trim 5.81. We can set that now. That's 5 point something. Let's head to FS actions. And we can go over to APU power. Oh, nope, we're not on. So it's doing something. So getting ready for the push here at Boston. And we can talk about a radio call. What are we going to say? We are American 176 Type 737. We're going to be pushing back onto Echo from Bravo 17. So pushing on to Echo from Bravo 17. So now we'll have to have APU power. Ground power is now disconnected. We can release the cart. And remove the wheel chocks. So again, just looking, mark one eyeball. Make sure we're ready to rock. And have I bound push to talk yet? No, that'll have to work for now. Okay. So a little bit of V-pilot drama here. Let's try this out now. Let's reconnect and refile. Now we're talking. Okay. All right, now we should be ready. Let's make sure and make our call. Boston traffic, American 176, type 737. We're taxiing. We're pushing off of Bravo 17 onto Echo, Boston traffic. And away we go. Let me get my status page up. Turn on APU bleed. And we have life. That's engine 2 coming up. Knock it over to the right ignition source for now. As we push back here again, we're going to be taxiing, once we're all set up, Echo Papa Delta Charlie. Or Echo Papa Delta. I don't know why there's a Charlie there. Cross runway 4 right, 4 left. Tug is away. Let's put our parking brake on. And we'll start the left engine. So again, it should be a pretty short flight, just about an hour. We'll be staying pretty low. There's fuel. All right. So we'll do flaps 5. We've got trim at 5.8. And we will turn on our transponder. And yeah, other than that, I think we're ready to roll. I've got a hot mic. So again, this is all kind of par for the course for a new control setup. We've got new honeycomb alpha yoke, and I've pressed my wind wing throttle I use for F-18 work into service for this. Let's run the after start stuff. We've got gens 1 and 2. We'll put them into continuous. Oops. Probe heat coming on. Might make sense to go up to the top panel and just do a check. Yaw dampers are on. Fuel pumps are all on. We can go over to Gen 1, Gen 2, and kill the APU. Probeat on. Anti-ice not required right now. Hydraulic pumps are all on. Passenger cabin, recirc fans on auto. We can turn the packs on. We'll turn the ISO valve to close. Turn off APU bleed. Landing altitude's about 0 at LaGuardia. And again, we're cruising at 16,000 feet. Last thing, we'll turn on taxi lights and just do a quick control wipeout. Make sure we have control of the airplane. Okay. So we're ready to rock. Let's tune up. Let's tune up the right frequency to start. 122.8 today. Boston traffic, America. Nope, wrong button. Boston traffic, American 176, taxiing to runway 27 via Echo, Papa, Delta, cross runway 4 right, crossing runway 4 left, Boston traffic. So let's roll along, and I'm just going to pull up some Toolkit Pro and help us out a little bit. So we should just be able to go straight ahead onto Echo. So one thing I have neglected, let's check out the weather meter. So KBOS. We are VFR. Wind is 8 knots at 300, 10 surface mile visibility. Altimeter 3012. And there's that that walker that was calling us earlier. I think that's a 747, but as always, let's do a check. Check right, check left, and then check our traffic sources. All right.
One heavy, crossing 4 right, Charlie. New section, 23 left, here's Charlie.
Boston traffic, American 176, crossing runway 4 left at Echo. We should light up too. And what we'll basically do is we'll cross. Boston traffic, American 176, clear 4 left. But we'll basically follow them in if I can still see them. Oh, there they are. And so here we got to go Papa. And then we'll cross onto Delta. Just basically follow them. I see no traffic on the scope. So on SimToolkit Pro or on VatSpy. So we'll just make a call.
51 heavy, crossing runway at Charlie.
Boston traffic, American 176, crossing 4 right at Papa. Boston traffic. We'll come this way. So we're set up. We got runway heading, altitude 5, top altitude 5,000 on the chart. We're gonna roll with. Let me get the chart up. So briefing the departure. We're going to fly heading 272 and then a left turn to 273 to hit Kira, and then just straight to Pats, and then we'll go on to Nelly. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We're actually not gonna hit Kuzi. We'll climb up to 5,000, and then once we're on our way, we'll clear ourselves back up all the way to our final cruising altitude of 16,000. And then we're crossing 33 left. We'll just cross 33 left here. Boston traffic, American 176, crossing 33 left at Delta, Boston. We're just rolling on down. I mean, it's kind of split between... There's not... neither of these is a wrong answer for the weather and the winds. Boston traffic, American 176, clear of 33 left. Keep taxi light on. Alright, so we'll run before takeoff checklists. Auto brake needs to be RTO. We'll reset fuel flow. And then we'll go position lights to strobe and steady. Taxi lights off. We'll turn all our lights on. Transponder is on. We'll hit the traffic button. Start the clock. And confirm the runway. We're going off 27.
Boston traffic, Orchid 51 heavy, parting runway 33 left, looking to depart up.
So we'll basically follow him. Once he's off, we can go. So we make the final turn here. Just get warmed up for the rest of our flight. So thank you all for coming along today on a full flight between Boston Logan International Airport and LaGuardia, KLGA. And again, this is the first, I'm excited, enjoying the honeycomb, enjoying having a yoke. The yoke, I've flown with a joystick primarily. It works for DCS and for Microsoft. And there are plenty of planes in this sim that have joysticks too, but I am really enjoying having the yoke. It's just a slightly different experience, but it's easier to do some of the things that we have to do in these planes. Even though I would never, really use them for that combat flight simulation. We're going to line up and wait, and let them get on their way. Boston traffic, American 176, lining up runway 27, departing Pat 6.
And Boston traffic, Spirit Wings 832 is on final approach, 11-mile final now, runway 33 left, Boston.
So we got a Spirit Wings coming in. That's a Spirit, a yellow Airbus. So let's line up and get out of here. We're not going to dilly-dally. So auto throttle can be, we'll turn flight directors on, auto throttle armed. We'll arm VNAV and LNAV here preemptively. Boston traffic, American 176, departing runway 27, departing PAT 6, Boston. .44. That's Toga. So again, our V1 was 131 or 129, and we're rotating 131. So there it is. Let's pull back on the stick.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear coming up. So we've got LNAV coming in, and we've got VNAV. So let's keep some pressure on the stick and engage our autopilot. And we'll bring flaps up. Boston traffic, American 176, clear runway 27. We're departing out to the east, Boston. All right, so we are airborne and on our way. Our route today, I'll throw that in the chat for posterity, but we are heading out from Boston, PATS 6. Nelly, Valerie, Harp. Basically, we're going to climb up to 16,000 feet. This is an American route that would really be run by E-jets mostly, E-jets and CRJs. But we're flying in a 737-700. It's not that different. They certainly run enough of them all day, every day. So where are we at? Was doing something. Oh, that's right, chat.
And Boston traffic, Spirit Wings 832, short final now, 33 left, Boston.
So, okay, after takeoff, gear is up. We can turn gear off. Although I'm not sure my switch configuration is going to let me do that. Auto brake off, flaps up, spoilers are retracted. I have autopilot armed. We are flying. We're not actually going to hit transition altitude today. You know, we're going to go up to 16,000, and that's it. So everything else is pretty much good. So thanks for coming along, everybody. We do have Washington Center online, much further south. So we may get to see some of them on our second leg. But right now we're heading into LaGuardia Airport, KLGA in New York City. That's 10,000 feet. Seatbelt signs can't come off. And we'll turn landing lights. We got that off. And then strobe and steady. We'll keep that on. And taxi lights can come off. Okay. And now we're pretty much monitoring. We're going to go up and head on out to LaGuardia. We're basically going to fly out over Connecticut. If we pull up the route, we're going to stay low to try and this is an artifact of busy New York airspace. But we're basically going to follow all the way through Connecticut and then over southern New York, and then kind of cut in towards LaGuardia. I've penciled in runway 4 for our arrival into LaGuardia, but we will we'll see how that goes when we get down there. I'm getting a little bit of strange behavior when I'm basically, I have a button where I press it and my center mouse click. I press to pan because I was having issues with just the pan mode. And it's really, it's throwing off something here. And I wonder why. That's odd. But doesn't seem to be impacting flight. Again, we are American 176. We're taking the classic American livery out. I thought that was a little more evocative for today's flight down the eastern coast of the U.S. And we have radios here. We've got COM 2. Let's check out what is Washington. Nope, we got nothing there. So we're basically cruising now. Again, top of climb, we're going to hit any minute now. Top of descent's going to be basically just before we hit that waypoint there, Valray. And on a short flight like this, it's probably best just to brief the departure now. Or brief the arrival now. So we've got the Harp 3 into LaGuardia. We are going to be we're coming in off of, where are we coming in off of? Oh, Valray here. So there's Valray. We're joining the arrival at Valray. And then we'll expect 8,000 at Basie. I don't know if that's what we have programmed. It is not. So let me just call it, let me add a /8,000 at Basie. And then, yeah, basically it's going to take us, I think it's just going to take us over the LaGuardia VOR. And then we'll vector around. So then to the LaGuardia, and then we'll expect vector. So we'll kind of kick out and to the left, probably. Or maybe out to the right. No, out to the left, because it's the airport's set up like this. So we'll kick out to the left and then come into the final approach course, which will be the... they'll vector us to the final approach for runway 4. So we'll get some wing views, and yeah, we'll keep on tracking down towards LaGuardia Airport. But this is a fun trip if you're looking for something. The big thing, I just want to do more 2 quick flights and a turnaround. The other idea was to go across the whole country, but that's about 5 hours of flying. Well, that's good. We can probably do in 3 with a turnaround. What else can we check? Weather at LaGuardia, LGA. We've got 030 at 5 knots, 10-mile visibility, 3018 on the altimeter. Winds basically, yeah, bang on down runway 4. Few clouds. Not really seeing anything too dramatic today, which is good. And then at DCA, it's a similar story. 82 degrees Fahrenheit, scattered clouds. Wind 050 at 7, 3021. which of course is our next stop after we hit LaGuardia. Max Racing, we are in the PMDG 737-700. Decked out in American colors, slightly fictionalized, but that's all right. So out over the state of Connecticut. And let's see. And hopefully, again, you never know what pops up with control rebinds and flying everything. I've flown some GA stuff, but not quite PMDG 737 yet with the new control configuration. So we'll do our best as we get in. So one thing we can do is check out where we're going to be. Well, how long is it going to take us to get to top of descent? 65 nautical miles. It's getting 14:27, so my time isn't right. Because that was a little while ago. So time now is 15:19. We're getting top of descent in about 10 minutes. 62 nautical miles, 15:29. As we pass Nelly and then head on down. And again, we loaded about 18,000 pounds of fuel. I'm going to and while we're doing this, what I'm going to do is start talking through our flight from LaGuardia to DCA. So our call sign's American 176. We'll take it to American 276. AAL 276. KDCA or KLGA to DCA. So let's set up a window. A window view for paperwork. Yeah, that's good. So LGA to DCA. They're going to be an alternate to Cape Pitt, which I don't love, but it will be a B737. B737, essentially. That's all fine. Hour 15 down from there, we're expecting... what are departures using out of LaGuardia? So they're using that runway, which I imagine is 13. Yeah, so they're using 13 out of LaGuardia in real life, so we'll plan for that in the sim. And then, okay, so let's duplicate that out. And, I just check out Reagan. They're landing north. Yeah, Reagan National. So runway 1 should be fine. For passengers, we'll do a 127 or so. And then again, just checking FlightAware to see what people are doing. Looks like it's the big EQ75 MXC Clipper 2. Is a fairly safe bet. And they all go about flight level 200 up to 220 or 180. So we'll be, we'll call it flight level 2000, 20,000 feet. And that gives us basically a similar route. It's going to shoot us down and down past the airport, towards the airport, then past it, and then we'll pick up the ILS. So that's enough paperwork, but that gives us an airtime of about 49 minutes, and we'll need a block fuel of about 12,536 pounds. Which should be doable. Time now 23. We're descending at around 2.9. Last thing to check out is going to be the ILS approach chart for runway 4 into LaGuardia. So I suppose we could punch in the JC transition, since we don't really know where we're going. Since we're coming from the north, but let me see what we are, what are my options? I've got Benig, Greg, and Faraz. So Faraz takes you out to the south. Where does Greg come from? Ah, so Greg comes in from the northeast. This is what I'm debating here. Just trying to decipher the chart is a little complex. I don't know where's Benig? Oh, Benig's here. So I think we want good Greg. And we'll fix our Basie 8,000. Maybe that just complicates it. Either way, we're going to hit vectors, and then we'll basically follow that plan. That plan on in the absence, again, assuming no one logs on to control us. Max Racing, you've been saving up to buy the PMDG. It's a good. I recommend it if you like airliners. It's a good one. Definitely a good, I think it's worthwhile if you fly it a lot, especially on VATSIM or something like that. It's one of those airplanes that really can be a primary airplane, but, I mean, if you're interested in other variants too, the 700, the 800, even the 900. I mean, we have the 700 now, which is kind of a smaller one. The most popular 737 is the 737-800. Of the NG family, I should say. So if you want that one, that's probably more of the iconic 737. This one's a little shorter, but that should be coming, I think in August is what it's slated for. We'll see if that actually happens. But no, very good airplane. I do enjoy it. They're coming up on top of descent here. We've got 8,000 feet as our kind of bottom altitude. But punching that constraint We can clear ourselves all the way down to 3,000 if we want to, but we'll aim for Basie at, that 8,000 feet. And then go from there. Really, once we cross over the LaGuardia VOR, at that point we'll kind of descend ourselves down and just get all configured on the downwind for the runway before we turn in. I did start that discussion by intending to pull up the localizer frequency, which I never really did, but it is, luckily for us, 110.5, which is our default frequency. So we're already tuned to that. And then the final approach course is going to be, it looks like 044. So we can punch in 044 on the course knobs here. And we'll put seatbelt signs on. I'm going to turn on landing lights just so I don't forget. Everything else looks pretty good. Auto brake. For auto brake, we'll do auto brake. LaGuardia's short runway, we'll do max. Just in case. And then we can also do our landing perf. Flaps 30, 135 knots is probably a fair thing to do. We could also go down to 40 and 133, but we should be all right with that. And we've begun our descent into LaGuardia. Again, we penciled in 8,000 feet at Basie, just because that's what the chart calls out as expecting from ATC. It's not a hard restriction. So we'll try that, and then, maybe we'll go down to 5,000 at 5,000 at LaGuardia. And then once we make this car turn, we'll make a call to LaGuardia traffic that we're on the Harp 3 arrival, runway 4. And that'll do it. You can see Long Island Sound off to our left. But again, just a good kind of rapid fire route if you're looking for doing a couple of landings at cool airports. Obviously, you can go to JFK too if you want, or Newark, or even Philadelphia. It's another good option. Then down to DC, and then if you were to keep going, leaving out of DC, I don't know, maybe Charlotte or Atlanta, but Atlanta's more of a haul. I think the Atlanta flight takes about 2 hours. We'll send a quick message, and again, as we're making the turn, we'll make a radio call too. LaGuardia traffic, American 176, descending through 9,000 for 3,000. Harp 3 arrival for the ILS runway 4, LaGuardia. And that's 8,000 at bays. It's going to hold 240. And then we'll hit Harp. Let's pull the weather back up. LGA, I think it was 3018, if I'm not mistaken. Altimeter 30, oh, not 0818. And then again, we'll pass over the LaGuardia VOR, most likely. And then kind of vector ourselves around. And at this point, we can, we'll zero this out and go down to 3,000. And it has us at 6,000 at LaGuardia, which I guess makes sense. So we'll cross LGA at 6,000, and then we'll descend down to 3,000 once we're kind of on that downwind. Speed's good. We'll turn on all our lights. Seatbelt signs are on. Guess we could use a little overhead panel light. We are looking good. So American 176 descending into LaGuardia International Airport. We're going to shoot the ILS for runway 4. Wind is pretty calm, 5 knots, 030. Weather in New York, few clouds, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, light winds and few clouds. It's just a nice day to fly in. Especially for an airplane like us. No, this is just going to take control of I'm going to knock it out of VNAV and just take control. We'll do a level change down to 6,000. We're making the turn now. It's giving me Greg. What I really wanted is JC as the direct waypoint. So we'll go over here. Fly over the airport. And then kind of go direct JC. As we vector ourselves in, unsupervised. Always a dangerous thing. So thank you all for coming along, just joining us. We are, we're getting ready for our final descent into LaGuardia. We're gearing up for the ILS for runway 4. We're having a little bit of trouble getting on this magenta line here, our plane. But it will involve some vectoring. This airport should be off our nose, right? I think it's right here. Yep. And to tell you the truth, I haven't flown into LaGuardia enough to know, you know, what the standards are. Although departure's going off of 1-3, so they should be going the other way. There's that one waypoint JC. What I'm gonna do, basically, let's go direct there and start descending 3,000 feet. Now once we hit that, at or above 4,000, so we'll hit 4,000 down there. So we'll lever change our way down to JC, and then yeah, we'll follow that in, basically, and then it has all the waypoints in there, but we'll capture the localizer, and then glide slow. This should take us right by Manhattan. Now, in real life, this is a very congested airspace. That's one of the reasons why we flew this whole thing at 16,000 feet. We could foreseeably go higher.
Number 4402 is a 5-mile final, first 4 right near traffic.
But so we've got the runway. That's LaGuardia right there. We're going to hit 4,000 and basically fly at 4,000 the rest of the way. This is going to take us out over the water to the south of Manhattan. And then at Varaz, we're going to go basically 200 knots, go down to 3,000 feet and pick up the ILS.
Near traffic, number 4402, short final. Short final, 4 right.
And now we've got Manhattan off to our left, New Jersey off to our right. We're now solid at 4,000. And then again, we'll go down to what did they say, 200 at Nicoil. That is a pretty cool view. I haven't flown into LaGuardia a ton in sim. Need to.
And Newark traffic, Limburg 4402 vacated 4 right, Newark. Crossing 4 left now, Newark.
Orange 909 Newark traffic, field inside.
And we keep an eye out to our right. That's Newark. So we'll keep an eye out for any other traffic in the area. But Sim Toolkit Pro has a couple of guys, one coming in up to the north. And that Spirit Wings, or to the south. That Spirit Wings 99 is further south, should be no factor. So we'll bring speed down to 200. And then really once we're past Benning, I'm comfortable cutting in, descending down to 3,000.
Spirit Wings 909er Newark traffic just picked up the localizer coming in for 4 rights. Currently about 12-mile final Newark traffic.
So the last thing to talk about, if we have to go around for whatever reason, missed approach, we're going to climb to 2,000 on the LGA VORDME radial 40043 to Greco intercept. And we will hold, and we'll climb in the hold to 2,000 feet. And again, that should all be programmed in for us, but that looks like a heading. Left heading about 135 should do it. Speed's good. Altimeter 3018. Seatbelt signs are on. Auto brakes are on max.
Spirit Wings 909 Newark traffic, currently 10-mile final for 4
Shouldn't need
left
spoilers.
Newark traffic.
And you got that Spirit Wings right there. You see them on scope. Ah, there he is visually. Alright, so we're going to make a left-hand turn, 300. We're going to go descend down now to an altitude of 3,000 feet. And we'll just keep bringing it left until we can really pick up the localizer. Other thing we can do is arm approach mode.
1520 beginning line of takeoff on runway 13 at LaGuardia.
The airplane seems to think it has a glide slope. We'll bring it back to speed 180. Or it seems to have a localizer, not glide slope yet. And now we're holding 3,000 until that glide slope comes in. Other thing we can start to think about. Get us flaps 5. And gear. I think technically we need to have the glide slope, but we will bring the gear out. LaGuardia traffic, American 176, 15-mile final for runway 4, LaGuardia.
Spirit Wings 999, Newark traffic, currently on short final for 4 left, Newark traffic.
So we've got the diamond. There's no one around us, so we could go down to, we'll go down around 8 miles to our final approach speed of 133. And we got the glide slope starting to come in. As we get ready to land. And that's glide slope captured. So 10-mile final. We have the runway in sight out here. Again, around 8. Again, when we're doing this, it's good to practice, I think, to practice getting it as close in before killing all your speed.
JetBlue 900, 20 miles, ILS 04, LaGuardia.
So we got a JetBlue coming in behind us. And so again, it's just good practice to keep the speed up as late as possible, but because ATC controllers like that. And again, like 5, if they tell me 5, I can usually get it down to 5-mile final without too much trouble. And then flaps. So the rest of the flaps, we've got flaps 10 at 210, which we can do. Nope. And we're good, flaps 30 below 165.
Spirit Wings 999, Newark traffic, clear ball runways, Newark traffic.
15, that's 25. And that's 30. Looking pretty good. LaGuardia traffic, American 176, 5-mile final on runway 4, LaGuardia. And we're at 39. So we'll keep the speed up. I'm going to take control of that. And take control of this. So let's give it a little bit of power. Getting a little slow, so a little power. Again, new control scheme, so it's going to be a little bit rough. Getting a little low, but still looking all right. Now don't overdo it.
500.
So now we're getting a little high. Bring power back. Let me remember what my the new bind is. We're way high now.
300.
Bringing power back.
Sync rate 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LaGuardia International Airport. We're going to come out here on this, I'm sure, hot spot. But yeah, that whole one hand, the thing the yoke really lets you do is do all that with one hand on the yoke and one on the throttle. But it's I'm still getting used to the left hand. But that was all right. We made it onto the ground. No worse for wear. What was that? 350. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. LaGuardia traffic, American 176 vacated 4 right at, or vacated runway 4 at Gulf, taxiing to parking, LaGuardia. All right, let's figure out where we need to go. If we go Gulf Alpha, we'll taxi Gulf Alpha to the ramp. LaGuardia traffic, American 176 taxiing to the ramp via Gulf Alpha, LaGuardia. So flaps come up.
Jet 900, 5 mile final, LaGuardia. For 04.
Auto brake off. APU on. Landing lights, runway turn-off lights can all come off. We'll go back to steady. As we taxi in. So what did I learn there? I didn't like my reverser bind. I need it on the stick. I need it on the need it on the control. Because essentially it's a switch that I use for really chaff and flare countermeasures in DCS, but it's way down on the side and I can't hold both throttles and hit that button. So that's good to know.
LaGuardia traffic, Southwest 2736 is only 20 miles per hour for the way of LaGuardia traffic.
We got this airplane pushing. We'll just come on in here. Flaps up, spoilers retracted. APU is on. APU is looking good. We can go over to APU power. And we'll turn the taxi light off as we taxi on in. Okay. Parking brake is on. Or it's not on, apparently. Parking brake on. Let's get the wheels chocked. We got APU on. We got APU power on. Turn all this off. We'll put ignition back to both. I do not know why it's doing that. Flaps are up. And we can cut engines.
Jet 900, runway vacated, LaGuardia.
So we'll connect up the ground power, get the jetway going, and then, yeah, we'll get ready for our turnaround into, and then to fly out to Washington, D.C. So, time now is 15:58. I would say that conservatively we could get off in 45 minutes would be a long time, so let's shoot for that. So, we'll have a pencil scheduled departure from here of, let's call it 16. We'll say 1640. Or American 276. We'll try and make that happen. All right. Auto throttle's off. Ground power is on. Wheel chocks are on. We can get our jetway in and start deplaning our passengers. We will unload baggage as well. And then reload. So while we're doing that, we have 12,928 pounds of fuel. I think we needed, what, 15,000 pounds for this flight. Block fuel. No, block fuel is 12.5. So actually, we're okay on fuel. That actually helps us a bit. So 12.5 is what we needed. We're at 12.9 now. So that's actually perfect. And then what did I say? We need 100 and something passengers, 127 passengers. The other thing, I wish it happened automatically, I think. So we've got to open the door manually. I don't know why. Ah, because it's saying we're on stairs. So jetway's coming down and we will start deplaning.
LaGuardia traffic, Southwest 2736 is on a 4-mile final runway 4 to land. LaGuardia traffic.
And we do have ground power. So let's get off of, let's get off the APU. And just get cleaned up a little bit. We'll cycle the yaw damper. Fuel pumps off. We're on ground power. Probe heat can come off. We'll leave the hydraulics on for now. We'll leave packs on auto for now. And yeah, the rest of it should be good. So connecting the last carts, we will unload and then we'll get up to... we'll set that up. There's going to be a little bit of, paperwork as far as unloading and loading the airplane. It would be nice to have an EFB. And then we'll make our turn into Washington, D.C. with a departure time, scheduled departure at 12:40 local time, 16:40 Zulu. So thanks, y'all, for coming along. That was the first leg of our flight from LaGuardia International Airport into...
LaGuardia traffic.
Into down the East Coast into the U.S. And looks like we were missing a little bit of chat on approach. Yes, Rusty, this is the 737 from PMDG. But still getting a feel for some of the control surfaces. But it went all right. Let me... buttons do I have available to me? So unloading that, and we will continue to deplane. I'm going to go refill my coffee, and and get situated for this next leg. I will we'll leave Unicom up and throw on a little bit of tunage. So we'll be right back. All right. So brief crew break, we're back at it. Should be deplaned and unloaded. So let's get baggage loaded up. What is it calling me for? We'll do 300 in the front and 35 in the back. And then, again, 127 was the number of passengers. We are targeted to load. We'll start the boarding in a second. So one more check to make sure we are still on our own. We are. And we talked through the route a little bit. So doing a pre-flight. Look, we have it going out Biggie Q75 MXE.
JFK traffic, FedEx 820, turning final, runway 31 right, JFK.
So I believe that'll put us to LaGuardia 7.
LaGuardia traffic, Cactus 1639, lining up on runway 13, LaGuardia traffic.
So that'll do. We're just basically flying directly to a waypoint, Biggie, and then taking an airway off to Washington. We go back to our paperwork simulator. Q75 MXE, straight to the Medina VOR. Basically straight south out of New York and then into DC. So that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, flying south through there. So the charts we'll need then are going to be Clipper 2 at DCA. So KDCA. We'll pull up the taxi diagram, Clipper 2. And we'll be expecting the Mount Vernon visual for runway 1.
Traffic, Cactus 1639, departing runway 13, direct Biggie, LaGuardia traffic.
Although the ILS won't hurt either. Mount Vernon visual, not quite as intricate, especially on final, as the river visual, but still pretty good.
FedEx 820, 5 mile final, 31 right.
So that's what we need to know. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just start messing with our route. So we are at KLGA. And we're going to head down to KDCA. As American 276. And we're going to shoot off runway 13 here at LaGuardia. So departing LaGuardia, we're basically going to be direct Biggie. So if we come down to our route, we'll just do direct Biggie, Bravo, India, Golf, Golf, Yankee. We are in the Western Hemisphere, so that's how I figured that out. Northern and Western Hemisphere. So Biggie, and then Q75 MXE. Very similar route. I think it's even the same as if you were flying to flying out of JFK. MXE, the Medina VOR. And then the arrival is going to be Clipper 2. And we'll take the RNA. Yeah, we'll take the RNA 1. Clipper 2, MXE transition. So that's the one. That seems to make a coherent enough route. We'll activate it. So that's punched in. We can start to think about boarding our passengers. So 127 passengers. Now we can leave seatbelt signs off. We're all fueled up. And about ready to go. So we put our new route in. We're going from KLGA. Biggie. 275. MXE. How do you spell clip? So ILPR was that. Clipper 2 and then DCA. Just update some stream paperwork. KLGA. KDCA. And we're American 276 now. And I did get booted from vPilot. And we're going to be American 276, Boeing 737, and okay, we're on. No drama there. LGA to DCA. K-Pit's the alternate. We are departing at 16:40. Time on flight time is going to be about 49 minutes. And we're going to cruise at 200. So flight plan filed. We're on 122.8. That's good. We do have Chicago Center online and Cleveland Center online. Now, as far as baggage is loaded. Let's get rid of the... Get rid of the loaders. And I don't think there's anything else we really need at the moment. So let's take it from the top now. We are wheel chocks on. Battery is on. Emergency exit lights are auto and guarded. Ground power is connected. Our IRSs are nav. Passenger signs. Seatbelt signs are off. Once we get everyone loaded, we'll turn them on. Electric hydraulic pumps are on. Yaw damper. Come on. Window heat's on. And the left aft fuel pump will be needed for APU start. ISO valve will come to open for once we get the APU started. We'll leave it in auto for now. And then flight level 200 is going to be our cruising altitude for this second leg into DCA. We're going good, and once we get everyone loaded on, we'll let the then we'll do our performance calculations. passengers coming along well. Let's check out the airspace while we're waiting for that to come on up. Gotta love a quick turnaround. So at LaGuardia, not a whole lot going on. There's another airplane, Southwest 958 heading to Midway. And that JetBlue 900 that arrived from DCA not long ago. JFK, we've got a few airplanes. I think we got a FedEx departing. Oh no, that FedEx arrived. We have one departing for CRW. Isn't that Florida? I'm not sure. But that's a JetBlue heading out of LaGuardia. We also have one United heading out of Newark for LAX. But so far, so quiet. Here on a 4th of July weekend stream. Long weekend stream for us here in the States. So I figured it was a good time to do some multi-airport hops. That's harder to do sometimes for our weeknight streams. Just depends on where we're going and when we're going, but... So we're getting the last passengers settled. Once we get them, we'll be ready to go. I'm going to put ignition to the left because we ran the right one last time. Everything else is pretty much ready to go. We'll fasten seatbelts and get our APU started up. Start generating some power. So passengers are all boarded. I think we're good to pull the jetway. So we arrived here basically on the block 1600. We didn't have to refuel. That would add some time, but we made it, you know, we're ready to go, 1621. So not too bad. APU is gearing up now. We'll pull the ground, we'll pull the jetway. Then once that stabilizes, we've got APU power. Let's take it. We'll release ground power. No other things are connected. Looking good. We will pull the chocks and add our parking brake. So again, we're taxiing to 13 here at LaGuardia. That's going to be kind of off to the end. So if we push back, I guess we'll push onto the ramp. And then it looks like Bravo Papa to 13. Bravo Papa to 13. We have a little bit of space in the ramp area here we can push onto. I don't think we have any other traffic really around us holding us up. Oh, and doors need to be closed too. All right, we will request the push. I think we're ready to go. Anti-collision lights on. APU is on. We'll release the parking brake. Fuel pumps can come on. And we'll just push into the push onto the ramp. And start the right engine. Second time forgot that. AP bleed.
Concord 1, landing runway 31 left, 4 DME from JFK. And to the JetBlue traffic, thank you very much for holding short.
Not being a very good pilot today. So packs off, APU bleed on. And we'll go into idle on engine 2.
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 751, taxiing 31 left at holding point kilo. Kennedy.
The fuel 12.9. Again, we had a block fuel of 12.5, so that's good. One thing we do need to do is the rest of our performance calculations while this is going on. So fuel A to 116, it'll be a little bit lighter. Our reserve fuel for this flight is going to be 5.6. Cost index, we'll keep it at 60. Cruise altitude 20000. Cruise wind, top of climb. Are looking at winds of approximately 290 at 49. And we're unable at that waypoint. N1 limit again, we'll do the 22K derate. And flaps 5, CG is 24.3%. 128, 129, and 133 are RV speeds. We'll punch that in. Okay, runway 13 is still our goal. We have the route programmed in. We can bump this out a little bit. Again, we're going direct biggie on departure. We can hit the second or engine 1 now. So thank you all for joining us. We're on our second leg of the day now. LaGuardia to Washington Reagan National Airport, KDCA. We're going to be doing, it looks like Mount Vernon visual for runway 1, landing north at DCA. About a 49-minute flight time once we get in the air.
Concord 1 is clear of runway 31 left off of Papa Charlie, right on Pushback.
So that's 29.
And then up Alpha to Terminal 7 on the Concord route.
That should start fuel up. And then trim, 5.43. Is the trim, we're up at 7 right now, so we need to go down to...
Kennedy traffic, JetBlue 751, holding short 31 left at Kilo. We'll be lining up behind
5 point something.
The departing company. Kennedy.
And flaps 5. And then again, we should finish the last flight and start the second one. So here's the route in Sim Toolkit Pro. We're basically just going straight in. And then we're going to go down to, let's just formalize our taxi plan. So we're here kind of spot 49. We're going to taxi out to, well, probably do Alpha Bravo Papa. Crossing runway 4. So Alpha Bravo Papa crossing runway 4. So that is all set up. It takes like, come on. And let's go through anything else that we may need. The top panels, just let's do a scan. Yaw dampers on, fuel pumps on. APU, we are on the APU power still. We can go to generators now. And we can turn off the APU. Probe heat on. We have panel brightness on. Seatbelts are on. Wipers are parked. Hydraulics are on. Passenger cabin on. We can turn off the APU bleed and put the packs to auto. And our cruise altitude is 200. Again, DCA is not very high. Elevation-wise. All right, so we are ready to go. Let's make a call to the traffic around and get on our way. LaGuardia traffic, American 276. We are going to be taxiing to runway 13 via Alpha Bravo Papa, crossing runway 4, LaGuardia. So take the parking brake off and just give us a little power. After that, auto brake can go to RTO. Oh, there's a taxi line here that we can follow. And then again, we'll just taxi Alpha until we can get onto Bravo. Quick check with the Mark 1 eyeball. And it may be good also. Just one more check of the weather. So wind 7 knots. So 040 at 7. Altimeter 3015 now. 10 mile visibility, no ceiling. We're VFR, it's 81 degrees and scattered clouds. So we'll do a little hop over to Bravo here. And then we'll just keep going straight. Bravo will turn into Papa. Other things. Flight directors on. We can arm the auto throttle, VNAV, and LNAV.
LaGuardia traffic. This is Southwest 958. Ready for departure at runway 31.
I mean, it's pretty much a direct crosswind. So that's one thing you can do. I think the wind slightly favors 3-1, but it's, yeah, you're basically direct crosswind. LaGuardia traffic, American 276, crossing runway 4, LaGuardia. So we'll just give him space, let him get out of here. So auto brake to RTO, fuel flow, reset. Our V speeds, we're rotating at 129, V1's 128, and V2 is 131. Going down a strobe and steady on the position lights for now. Let the parking brake on and just make sure the Southwest gets out of here. And make sure no other departing traffic. So we'll take the parking brake off and roll out on a 1-3. LaGuardia traffic, American 276. We're taking 1-3, departing direct Biggie out to the south. LaGuardia traffic. And then we'll basically make that turn on departure. Follow our flight directors. Got auto throttle armed. Let's get our lights on. Then we'll bring the throttles up. Get ready to go. So we are rolling. You're coming up. Turn it over to VNAV, LNAV, and turn the autopilot on. So we'll go up flaps 2. LaGuardia traffic, American 276, clear, runway 13, but direct to Biggie, LaGuardia. Coming down through 3,000. Top altitude's 5,000. I'm just going to bump that up to 20,000 feet. As we depart out of New York City. And you see we got JFK off of our left and LaGuardia off to our right. So 2 really big airports. A big reason why some of the most congested airspace in the U.S. and the world, really. All right, so we are on our way, passing Manhattan now, departing out of New York Again, direct Biggie, we're going up to 220, flight level 200. And yeah, basically directly over Lower Manhattan. So LaGuardia, very scenic approaches, very scenic departures. As usual, Statue of Liberty should be just under us right now. Yep, there it is. And the plane seems to be behaving nicely, which is good to see. We're above 10,000 feet, so landing lights can come off when we turn off lights and taxi lights off, and we will take our seatbelt signs off. Again, weather in DCA was looking good earlier this morning. It's still looking pretty good. Wind 080 at 3 knots. 3021 on the altimeter. Scattered clouds, 85 degrees Fahrenheit in Washington, D.C. today. And again, we're coming up on runway 1, or we're planning runway 1, and we'll see if that starts to switch around. I doubt it, because DCA's been in North Ops, looks like all morning. So thank y'all for coming along on this second leg of our 4th of July flights. Trying to do 2 full flights for the price of 1. We're coming up on top of climb, again, 20,000 feet, flight level 200. We will have to hit the standard altimeter setting on this one. We didn't on the last one. But we will have to hit that one here. And then, yeah, the descent into Washington compared to New York is pretty straightforward. The Clipper 2 arrival is going to spit us out onto basically a long downwind for the Mount Vernon visual.
Traffic, November 2 Oscar Bravo on the JTC arrival for ILS 06.
But you also get a good, you can also use a decent ILS approach into the runway 1 too. And we're now hitting transition altitude. That's 18.1. So we'll click it into standard and away we go. So again, should be about a 49-minute flight in the air today. Very short, and again, there's a lot of good short hops in the Northeast that are perfect for this kind of flying.
Got a 5522, climb and maintain flight level 280 and remain normal speed.
And it looks like we do have, actually, we're getting DCA Tower online now.
782 Sierra Foxtrot, crossing at 28 center, and just let me know when you're ready to go at 2 left.
So that's actually pretty exciting. Let's pull up that ATIS, see if we can tune in that ATIS. DCA ATIS 13265. 13265.
Arrival dispatch Mount Vernon visual runway 1. Landing and departing runway 1. 33. Multiple approaches being conducted to intersecting runways. Use caution. Notices to air mission. Numerous trains in vicinity of airport. Hazardous weather information for DCA area available from Flight Watch or Flight Service Stations. Brief all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Operate transponder mode C on all taxiways and runways. Do not enter prohibited airspace north of the airport. Command error in cloning. Advise on initial contact. You'll have information Lima.
Information Lima. At DCA.
Washington National Airport ATIS information Lima 15520. 1080 at 3. Visibility 10. 25,000 scattered. Temperature 29er. 2.11. Altimeter 3020. Arrival dispatch Mount Vernon visual runway 1. Landing and departing runway 1. 33. Multiple approaches being conducted to intersecting runway.
Right, and I have, just for a little bit of text drive, Cleveland Center tuned in. Not that we have anything to do with them at the moment. That's all on COM 2, and we're on COM 1. I got Unicom still. So we're passing Biggie now, and now we're just basically going to follow the airway down to the Medina VOR.
Airway 001 to center house discretion is level 31030.
Maintain flight level 310, airway 001.
At your discretion. Airway 018 to center house discretion, maintain level 310.
Descending flight level 310 at my discretion, airway 018.
Right, that's center number 73, Sierra Foxtrot, ready to go to the
November 783 Sierra Foxtrot, wind 230 at 4, fly runway heading, runway 28 left at Papa, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 28 left, fly runway heading, 30 Foxtrot.
Airway 001, Toronto Center is offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved. Have a good day.
Frequency change approved, Unicom 122.8, airway 001, thanks for your service, stop A4.
Thank you. Southwest 4542, quick direct sketch. Southwest 4542, quick direct sketch.
Alright. So we do have this all set up. Let's just check and see what we're expected. So, top of descent, 1703, time now is 50, so again, about 13 minutes till we get down there. 1650 now. But there's a DCA at 1720, so yeah, I'd say about 1:30 local. We should be at Washington. Everything else is looking pretty good. We're pretty well set up now.
30 Foxtrot, are you going to want flight following once you're clear of the Bravo or no?
Yes, please.
Back that out. And again, we're just going to follow this to MXE. And then once we hit MXE, we're on the Clipper 2 into DCA. Now, I have punched in the ILS information. The localizer, at least. And then our course is going to be 006. So here, 006. On the course again. We heard the ATIS. Information Lima. And we'll be visual runway 1. So to brief the, just to brief the arrival, we can go through that. We're on Clipper 2, Medina VOR, MXE. We're expecting 11,000 at Nuggy. That would be good to check. Oh, so that's for non-turbojets, I should say. We're expecting 12,000 at Trish.
Air France 57 Charlie, Cleveland Center, good afternoon. Squawk 5740.
We'll expect 12,000 at Trish. And then at Baltimore, we'll expect 10,000. Let me, slash, not that it would really confuse it, but slash 10,000. At Baltimore. And yeah, from there, we're pretty well good, pretty well set up, but that's all kind of ATC expected.
American 2001, New York Center's offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Good day.
Switching over to Unicom. Thanks for your help. American 2001.
Air France 57 Charlie. Radar contact 35 miles north of the Buffalo VOR. Airway 018, Toronto Center's offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Good day.
Unicom 1228 today, and thank you for your service, sir. Happy holidays.
We're passing Philadelphia off to our left. You can see it out the window. That's Philadelphia International Airport. They've got approach and tower online. That was our alternate, basically, on the New York trip. And then one more thing before I probably changed our top of descent. Yeah, so 16:57. So in 3 minutes, we'll be going down to, I think 10,000 or 12,000 at Nuggy was what it was. Or, sorry, 12,000 at Trish. If I turn on data, I could maybe see that. 12,000 at Trish and then 10,000 at Baltimore. So the aircraft should figure that out. Again, altimeter 3020. We'll double check the ATIS as we get in a little bit closer.
Cleveland Center, United 566, flight level 350, climbing flight level 370.
United 566, Cleveland Center.
We may have lost DCA tower.
Dunkirk, Delta Kilo Kilo.
Redirect Dunkirk, United 566, thanks.
We did a pretty good job of getting off the blocks in a timely manner. And I think we're going to make good time getting into DCA here, as we're just about now crossing into the Maryland line.
Air Canada 965, leave airspace to the southeast. Washington Center is offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved today.
122.8 for Air Canada 965. Happy Independence Day. Thanks for the canola.
Slipper 727, New York Center.
Or coming on downhill now. 3020 was the last we heard. Let's punch that in. Still planning runway 1. But I think I put in the RNAV for some reason. I'll put in the ILS for runway 1, Clipper 2. Mexi transition still. Then we're heading into Trish at, again, 12,000 feet. Let me just throw in my, reload the constraints. I was saying what, I needed, some drag? Maybe not.
Air France 57 Charlie, clear direct Memphis. Mike, Echo, Mike.
Direct to Mike, Echo Mike, Air France 57 Charlie.
Southwest 4542, contact Chicago Center on 120.35, 35. Good day.
Over to center, 20.35. Thanks. You help us in next time. Southwest 4542.
Delta 2155, Cleveland Center, wind 220 at Niner, gust 15, runway 24 right, clear for takeoff.
Passing Clipper now, let's take it down to, we'll take it all the way down to 3,000. We've got the constraint of 10,000 at Baltimore already penciled in. And we're going to have 250 knots at Baltimore, too, is the idea. You can see the city off our nose. And while we're here, we're at about 10,000, so we'll light it up.
Skyhawk 899 Alpha Lima, Cleveland Center, go ahead.
Bring our seatbelt signs on. We are preparing for our approach into Washington Reagan Airport.
November 899 Alpha Lima, squawk 51.
I'm not sure what the speed's
and the,
doing.
Lakefront altimeter 3015.
Not sure why it's going so high. So let's go back down to 250.
899 Alpha Lima, readback correct, runway 24 right, advise ready for taxi.
24 right, default for taxi. That's right, center on 23, that's by level 3 on 2.
Southwest 2123, Cleveland Center, roger, clear direct Jerry.
Direct Jerry, upright center on 23.
Cleveland Center, hello, Eastern 291 on the ground at Pittsburgh, clearance to Detroit, please.
Eastern 291, Cleveland Center, cleared to the Detroit Metro Airport via the Pittsburgh 5 departure, radar vectors, Briggs, then S files, maintain 5,000, expect flight level 240, 10 minutes after departure. Departure on this frequency and squawk 5177.
Okay, cleared to Detroit via the Pittsburgh 5 departure, radar vectors Briggs, and then as filed, maintain 5,000, 240 in 10 minutes, departure with you, squawk 5177, Eastern 291.
Eastern 291, readback correct, runway 28 left, intersection Papa, advise ready for taxi.
28 left, Papa, we'll call you back, Eastern 291.
Delta 2155, radar contact, stay altitude leaving. Delta 2155, roger, climb and maintain.
That's 10,000 feet. It's going to take us at 250 knots over Baltimore VOR. You see BWI below us.
Cleveland Center, November 8870 Echo on the ground, growth to year. IFR to pull.
November 8870 Echo, Cleveland Center, cleared to the Papa Uniform Juliet Airport as filed, maintain 3,000, expect flight level 220, 10 minutes after departure. Departure at this frequency, squawk 5720, and hold for release.
Okay, clear to Pullman, S files 3,000, and expect flight level 220 on 10, 5720, and hold for release 8870 Echo.
8870 Echo, readback correct, advise number 1, ready for departure, and frequency change, please.
8870 Echo.
United 1076, Indy Center is offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Have you come for United 1076, thank you for the service of a various good day.
Cleveland Center, good afternoon, November 1761.
All right, so we're past Baltimore. That's our last real constraint. We're going to bring it. We're just going to let the airplane fly us down to 3,000. And then it'll put us on a long downwind for the Mount Vernon visual. Airport really should be just off our nose. That blotch out there is Washington, D.C. Fuel looking good, 8.8. We can turn our auto brake off.
Cleveland Center, ident.
Ident, 170.
And this is another kind of short, watery runway, so we'll go auto brake max. And then our approach ref, flaps 30, 132 knots. 130, and you can even punch it in here, 132. So 132, 135 knots will be what we kind of shoot for. As we come in again, uncontrolled, looks like tower logged off. We do have, it looks like one departure, well, no, one arrival in Eastern that just landed at DCA. Otherwise, the airspace is pretty clear. There's one Delta heading out of Philadelphia, some guys on the ground at Dulles, off to, which will be out to our west. But other than that, the airspace is pretty clear. You can see the river out in front of us, as well as Washington, D.C. We're going to make that left-hand turn, get down to 3,000 feet. And then when we're ready, we'll turn final.
Southwest 51, Cleveland Center, roger. Good direct, Jerry.
We'll probably pick up the localizer.
Delta 2155, contact Cleveland Center on 128.62.
To get in. So before landing, we've got our auto brakes on. Just check the overhead panel while we're at it. Got damper on, fuel pumps, everything else is pretty good. Probes are on, no ATH required. Yeah, lights are on and lit. I think we're ready to come on downhill. So I'm going to quiet down Cleveland Center because they have no bearing on us. We're going to go over. We've got Unicom still in COM 1. We will make our radio call basically once we get established on final. Expecting, get established about 10 miles out, and then bring it on in. You can see the runway, the airport right off our nose. That is KDCA. And then just checking out the chart, which waypoint. So Cattern represents 10.7 TME from the Washington VOR. What I will do now is 1099, make sure 1099 is in standby there. We're looking good. We're going to bring the speed down to 210. And then as we make the turn, we'll go down to 180. I'll turn to 3020. Again, everything else looking all right. They can't see the runway. And again, we'll fly basically right when the river bends out here. Make a right-hand turn, and then, yeah, pick up the final approach course. So thank you all for coming along. This is our second leg of the day. Heading in, we departed out of LaGuardia about 45 minutes ago. Getting ready to shoot our final approach into DCA, Washington Reagan International Airport. One last thing to review, missed approach. We're going to climb 420 feet, then make that immediate left-hand turn to avoid the prohibited airspace. Climbing to 220. DCA radial 325 to Georgetown, and then a hold. So, we can go ahead and descend to 250. We're going to do a bunch of things at once. Go down to speed 180. And then make a right-hand turn. Heading 270 to join the localizer. And go down to flaps 5-2. And arm our approach mode. Christian, it is. Thanks for the well wishes. We'll see. Yeah, this way into DCA2 isn't as bad. The final turn for the river visual on 19 is tough. This one we get to go pretty straight in, but it is a short runway, so we'll have to get down, plant it. And, yeah, we'll just have to get down and plant it, especially, like, it's similar to LaGuardia, too. We ended up a little high and fast. Just had to put in too much power at the end. I didn't manage my power real well. So for this one, we'll have to be pretty on top of it. Let's go right-hand turn. 340, and we'll call 15-mile final. Washington traffic, American 276. We are flying the river visual, runway 1, 15-mile final. Washington traffic. Why's my course all off? So that's not right. The course should be 006. I don't know what happened there. But fly the plane first. Okay, that's more reasonable. Bring it back right to really pick up the localizer. There it is. So we got the localizer. We'll bring the gear out. We're at 180 knots. So we can go down to flaps 15. Again, 133 is going to be our VREF. Sit up a little bit. We can get ready for this. And we got glide slope. 133 is our VREF, and again, we'll be fairly conservative as we bring it down here. I do want to arm speed brakes. Power's coming back. Our limit for flaps 25 is 170 knots. So we're 170 and decreasing. We'll give it flaps 25. And then below 165, we're good to go flaps 30. And you could even convince me that flaps 40 might be a good thing. If we bring it back to all the way to 130. Flaps 40 is going to be 156, so we're there. We'll go all the way. Max auto brake is on. I'm going to try and let it get the speed stabilized and then take control. So my throttles. And, again, just as practice, I'm going to try a slightly different control scheme here. Just small adjustments. We're a little low and a little slow, so just give it some power. That's looking good. That's feeling all right. And again, just practicing the hand flying. So the actual poppies are telling me I'm a little high, although I'm bang on the glide slope. Just bring it back a little bit. Washington traffic, American 276, short final, runway 1, full stop, Washington. 500. That's 500 feet there. We're getting low now. 400. But we're on speed. Lineup's looking pretty good. It's funny, you don't think about it, but flying with the left hand as opposed to the right hand if you're coming from a joystick. It is a change. Even though it's really just the same kind of thing. 100. Speed's good. 50. 30. 20. 10. Flare. Not bad. We're off. That one felt much better. So that's... We're vacated. Let's just do a quick look around. Make sure we're not getting in anyone's way. Clear the runway. Flaps up. Washington traffic, American 276 vacated runway 1. We're going to taxi to parking via Kilo. American, Washington. Okay. So we're down. What was that? What was the damage? 339. Yeah, that's all right at Washington. We're just going to taxi straight ahead. one thing, we can turn the APU on, taxi lights on, runway turn off lights and landing lights off. Auto brake come off. And we'll find a good spot here. Back in the end. One more thing, spoilers can come in. The taxiing in. Parking brake on, we'll get chocks in and shut down the engines. So that's that. We're on APU power. Let's get wheel chocks and let's get this jetway set up. Chocks on, ground power connecting. Jetway attached, and let's just get everything loaded up here. 0. One more thing, we got to get the doors. So we probe heat off.
Still traffic in at 946 heavy, lining up runway 30, Dallas.
And we will deplane the passengers. All right. So welcome, everybody, to Washington, D.C. Time now is 1:24. Weather, mid-80s, sunny. It's a beautiful day. And, yeah, thanks for coming along on these full flights. We hit Boston, LaGuardia, and then into DCA. We got a couple good, fun approaches, short field approaches, and that was, yeah, I thought the second landing was good. But yeah, it is just funny how much of a change. Going to a different control surface, control scheme means, and how it makes the airplane feel. That is a big part of the whole debate about an airplane's flight model is what controls are you using actually physically. Makes a huge impact. But yeah, so those are fun flights. Thanks for coming along, everybody. Really appreciate it. Hope you all have a good Monday or a good 4th of July for